Time with Shebrews royalty features remedies for inner healing and outer beauty. Real-time conversations with sisters in the Hebrew Israelite community, focused on healing our spirit, mind, and body, which will contribute to the healing of our nation as a whole. Sip a cup of tea, wear your favorite turban, tee, or tunic, and enjoy tea time with Shebrews royalty. Tea Time with Shebrews royalty features remedies for inner healing and outer beauty. Real-time conversations with sisters in the Hebrew Israelite community, focused on healing our spirit, mind, and body, which will contribute to the healing of our nation as a whole. Sip a cup of tea, wear your favorite turban, tee, or tunic, and enjoy tea time with Shebrews royalty. Shebrews royalty. She's got the fruits of the spirit, love, joy, and peace. She's got long suffering, gentleness, and goodness, endurance, faith, and meekness too. Shebrews royalty. She's got the fruits of the spirit.
Shalawam, Shalawam family, Shalawam sisters. Come on in with your beautiful royal selves. Come on in. As you come in, please do me a favor, hit that like button, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Let others know that we are live. Let me put this little reminder up here. Give me just a second. I got to put that little reminder up here. So welcome. Hit that like button, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Don't forget to do so, sisters, if you haven't already done so. Please come on in. Let's get this royal Shebrews tea party started. All right, let's do that. So who is here thus far? Who is here? Let's see. Sister Habkarat, of course you are. Shalawam. Sister Alicia, Sister Karama, yes, welcome, sisters. Come on in. I am so excited to see you all. It's been way too long. But before we go any further, first things first, let us give a huge shout out, a praise to the Almighty, AHAYAH, ASHAR, AHAYAH, the God of the Hebrews and the Shebrews. I am that I am. In the name of his son, YASHAYAH Mashiach, whom the world calls Jesus Christ, and the Holy Spirit, RAWACH QADASH. So let us give them their props, right? For bringing us back another Sunday. Yes, we are back. And like I said, let us do this. Let us give them a huge round of applause to the Godhead for bringing us back another Sunday. And actually, it's been a couple of weeks. So all praises to the Most High for bringing us back together after being gone for these last couple of weeks. I am your hostess, Kuala Yakaka, and I humbly thank you for joining me on this broadcast today. Welcome, welcome. So, sisters, how was your mini vacay? How was your mini vacay? I gave you all some time off, a couple of weeks to be precise. So, talk to me. How was your time off? What did you do? Anything interesting? Anything fun on the last couple of Sundays that we didn't meet? What's been going on? Shalawam says, so nice to see you as well, Sister Karama. So nice to see you. All praises to the Most High. So I pray that everyone had a blessed and productive couple of weeks. Can you believe that it's been 2 weeks already? This time is just, oh my goodness, it is flying. So once again, praise the Most High for bringing us back for another Sunday and another new week. Gosh, it was so wonderful to see some of my beautiful sisters in Cali. Yay! It was so wonderful to make that trip out there, and we spent last Shabbat together. So all praises to the Most High. So sisters out there in Cali, shalom. Good to see you all. And oh my goodness, prayerfully, it won't be so long again before we see each other again, right? But yeah, it was wonderful. So I was in SoCal visiting my son and his family, and we actually celebrated his graduation and his accomplishment of obtaining his master's degree. So I went out there to support my baby boy and his family is just growing beautifully. And it was such a wonderful and blessed occasion. And once again, it had been a couple of years, and that's shameful. That's really shameful that it had been a couple of years since I've been out there to, has it been a couple of years? Yeah, it's been almost 2 years since I had last been out there. And so, yeah, that's way too long. So, I'm going to do better. I'm going to do better. So, praise the Most High. But had such a beautiful time. The only complaint that I have is that it was so short. It was just way too short. But all praises to the Most High. We packed a lot. Let me just put it that way. We packed a lot into those few days that I was out there. And so by the time I came back, I was a little tired. And we know how that SoCal traffic is, right? That was the other thing, is adapting to that again. It was that traffic is something else. But the weather was beautiful. I just had such an amazing time, and it was so good to visit the church out there and to see everyone again. It was just absolutely beautiful. So that being said, before moving forward in this discussion, I must first make some disclaimers. And let me start by saying what this channel is not. Tea Time with Shebrew Royalty is not going to be everybody's cup of tea, and that's okay. We get it, we understand, we don't expect it to be. But if you happen upon this channel and you realize that you don't agree with our beliefs, our lifestyle, it's okay to keep searching YouTube until you find your perfect cup of tea. And you owe that to yourself, right? And I'm sure if you continue to search, you will actually find your perfect flavor as well. What I do ask is that you not leave any insults, any derogatory statements in the comment box, because that would be distasteful. So we would really appreciate that, and we thank you in advance. Sister Hapkarat says, I'm taking care of a sister's garden while she's out of town, and I love it. It's given me experience when I start my own. Yes, all praises, sis. All praises. That's great. That is such a blessing to her, and for you as well. Yeah, all praises. So does she have a lot of flowers, fruit trees? What is she growing, sis? What is she growing out there? Also, although I am a licensed physician assistant and functional nutrition informed professional, CPR and BLS and wilderness first aid instructor, and I will be touching on topics of health and wellness on my broadcasts, such as tonight. We will not be utilizing this platform to diagnose or treat anyone's illnesses. If you are experiencing any medical problems, please consult your healthcare practitioner. And the views that you will hear on this channel are the views of myself or my guests, and not those of any particular church or organization. Some videos and materials may feature foods, herbal teas, nutritional supplements, and skin or hair care products offered through Shebrews Royalty LLC. These products are not evaluated by the FDA and are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Results may vary, and individuals with allergies, underlying health conditions, or who are pregnant or nursing should consult a qualified health professional before using any product or adopting any wellness recommendations shared on this platform or the Shebrews Royalty LLC website. By watching this channel, you acknowledge and agree that you do so at your own risk. The creators, guests, and affiliates of this channel are not liable for any injury, loss, damage, allegedly arising from any information, suggestions, or practices shared here. So now that we've gotten those disclaimers out of the way, let's talk about our featured product of the night. Every time we meet here on Tea Time with Shebrews Royalty, we feature a product from, whether it be from our Temple Treasures collection or the Hebrew Royalty collection for our kings. So tonight's featured product is actually from our Temple Treasures collection, and that is our Crown and Coil Nourishing Hair Butter. And I am going to bring that up on the screen for you on the website, ShebrewRoyalty.com. Let me get that here for you. You know, we have so many amazing products. So I want you all to come and visit this site if you haven't already done so, and check out all of the all organic, natural skin and hair care products and teas that we have on this website. Here we are. And this is our featured product of the night. It is our Crown and Coil Nourishing Hair Butter. And it says, Shebrews Royalty Temple Treasures Crown and Coil Nourishing Hair Butter is a luxurious blend of organic butters and oils to seal in moisture, soften strands, and protect your crown. It's perfect for twist outs, braid outs, for the ends, and also for protective styling. And here are some of the key benefits. Some of the key benefits are it locks in moisture without buildup. Here we are right here. Soften and defines curls and coils. Nourishes the scalp and hair with herbs and essential oils. The ingredients, all organic. And here's a list of our ingredients right here. Shea butter, mango butter, black castor oil, jojoba oil, olive oil, fenugreek infused Temple Treasures Royal Crown and Glory hair oil. And that hair oil is one of our signature oils, hair oils. And I'll go over that in just a minute, because just the fact that this hair butter has this oil in it gives it additional benefits. So we'll talk about that in just a minute. And there's also vitamin E oil. And the essential oils are lavender, sweet orange, and rosemary. And we know that these oils are absolutely amazing for the hair. So let's talk about the oil that is infused in this this hair butter as well. And I'm going to go over to, let me find that. Should we go to the store? Yeah, let's go to the store here. And we'll go to Temple Treasures. This thing is loading a little slow tonight. Here we go. Royal Crown and Glory hair growth oil. So this oil is also infused into the hair butter. And let me tell you a little bit about this hair oil. If you haven't experienced this hair oil yet, I am telling you, you are truly missing out. So the extra benefits of having this Royal Crown and Glory hair growth oil infused into the butter. This oil in itself contains fenugreek seeds, moringa powder, nettle leaf, Jamaican black castor oil, pumpkin seed oil, baobab oil, jojoba oil, grapeseed oil, amla oil, horsetail grass extract, and also additional vitamin E. So what does this tell you? And the purpose of this oil in itself, if you use it separately, it's deeply nourishing, it's strengthening, it promotes hair growth and thickness and scalp health. It stimulates hair follicles, reduces breakage, enhances moisture retention. You can use it as a hot oil or daily moisture sealer. So if you're using this oil all by itself, not infused in the hair butter, you'll warm a small amount between your palms and apply it damply to either dry hair or wet, damp hair. Focus on the ends and the strands. And also it can be used as a finishing sealant or nightly moisturizer. So there we go. These products are absolutely amazing. And I don't know. And the aroma, oh my gosh. You know how some hair oils, they have all of these beautiful, amazing benefits, but the scent is kind of off-putting. This oil and the hair butter, oh my gosh, just absolutely scrumptious. They smell so good. All right, sisters. So let me get back to you all right now. So that's our product for the night. That is our featured product for tonight. All right. Let's see. Sister Habkarad says peppers. You know, I can't see that far. Let me see. You said peppers and tomatoes and some herbs. Awesome. Yay. Sweet peppers, hot peppers. You know, I'm getting all in the business. I'm getting all in the business. What kind of peppers, sis? Sweet peppers? Or are we talking about hot peppers like jalapenos and stuff like that? What's going on? All right, sisters. All of that being said, You know what time it is. What time is it? Talk to me. You should know what time it is right now on Tea Time with Shebrew Royalty. What time is it? Well, it's tea time, of course, right? So now that you know what time it is, how are you celebrating tea time? How are you enjoying tea time tonight? What is your cup of tea tonight? Or if you're not having tea, what are you having? What are you sipping on tonight? Because you know, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you the tea on what I'm having tonight. Yes, I am going to give you the tea. So talk to me. What is your cup of tea? Are you having water or you have it? You know, earlier today, before I go into my tea for the night, earlier today, I was just down in that kombucha. I am back on my kombucha kick. I took a break there. I took a break because, oh my goodness, my scobies they were way out of control. Way out of control. I could not keep up with the growth of these scobies. I mean, they had baby scobies popping up all over the place. And it had just become so much. And I just thought, oh my gosh, I can't keep up with all these scobies. So what did I do? I just stopped for a minute there. I just stopped. And then what I did was, because I had taken such a break, I went ahead and got rid of the scobies that I had. And I started with some fresh new scobies. And I started off with 2 scobies. And I'm already up to 5 scobies already, and it's only been about a month since. Yeah, it's only been about a month, but I'm telling you, these kombucha scobies, they just get way out of control. Hot peppers. Shalawam, Aqua Sierra. Shalawam, beautiful royal regal sister. Oh my gosh, so good to see you, sis. Shalawam. But yeah, so I am back with my kombucha, and today I've already made 4. Was it 4? 3 containers, and I have one more to make. That's on its second fermentation. So I flavored them today with the strawberries and the blackberries, and I still have one more to complete tonight. And this one is going to be blueberries, and then I think I'm going to make one with lavender, infused with lavender buds. But yeah, I'm back on the kombucha kick, and my gut is already thanking me. It feels so much better already. And so anyway, I'm having water tonight. So Habkarat is having water. Okay, all praises. Shalawam, sis. Shalawam. Sister says, you know, Sister Shamira, Hamalakwa, AHAYAH. There you go, sis. Sister Belinda. Having honey, lemon, ginseng. Awesome. You're going to have all kinds of energy this evening, sis. With that ginseng, I hope you get some sleep. You should be winding down with some sacred calm. I'm just saying. Run over to ShebrewRoyalty.com and get some sacred calm to relax you for the evening. But let's talk about what I'm doing tonight. So tonight I am actually featuring a royal tea from our Hebrew royalties collection. And this tea is curated, made specifically for the kings in our lives. So when I visited my son in California, I blessed him with two of our Hebrew royal teas, um, the royal tea and the masculinity. So tonight I am actually featuring masculinity from the Hebrew royalty collection. And don't look at me any sort of way, sisters. I am actually having some masculinity tonight. And the reason I'm doing this is because if I'm featuring the tea, I have to, hey, I am going to drink it. I'm going to talk about it. And so don't worry. Don't worry. I have been drinking my femininity. So this masculinity is not going to change anything. Okay. I just had to put that disclaimer on there. But this tea, whew, it really does have a masculine scent to it. You know, we sisters, we like our floral stuff, and we like those those spices that smell like, the feminine stuff. We like our rose petals and all of that good stuff, hibiscus and so on and so forth. But sometimes I like quality as well, my quality, because that tea has it's packed with so many spices. So if you like a spicy black tea, quality is it. I'm just letting you know about the masculinity, which is for the kings in our life. And so tonight, let's talk about this masculinity and what this is all about. And it really does taste delicious. Of course, I had to put some honey in here to, because it has more of a, how do I put it? It is spicy, but it's still kind of mild, and maybe that's because I didn't make it very strong. But you can, for the brothers, they may want to make it more bold, but I wanted it just a little, just a subtle taste. I didn't want it too bold, but it is very, very delicious. Very delicious. So let's talk about masculinity. Let me bring that up here for you. We're going back to ShebrewRoyalty.com, and let's go back to the store. We're going to go back to the store. And we're going to head over here to royalties. Or we could also go to the Hebrew Royalty Collection. And yes, so the masculinity is the male counterpart to here it is, the femininity. There's the femininity, and here is the masculinity. Here we go. So let's go here so you can learn a little bit more about what this tea is all about. So there it is, masculinity. It says it's bold, right? And it's powerful. It's bold and powerful. It's a powerful herbal tonic created to support stamina, hormonal vitality, and mental clarity in men. It's energizing yet grounding, making it ideal for those who carry physical or spiritual responsibilities. So here are some of the health benefits: vitality and endurance. Ashwagandha and nettle leaf work synergistically to support testosterone balance, reproductive health, physical stamina, and muscular strength. It's perfect for stress recovery, workouts, or vitality over time. Then there's liver and digestive detoxification. Roasted dandelion root and ginger stimulate digestion and liver detoxification, which can aid with energy production, hormonal clearance, and a healthy metabolism. For mental focus and emotional balance, the holy basil or tulsi and peppermint uplift mood, improve cognitive function, and ease stress, supporting clarity, calm leadership, and emotional composure. This tea packs a punch, I'm telling you. And then there's immune and circulatory support. Licorice, cinnamon, and ginger have immune boosting and circulation enhancing effects, offering warmth and resilience, especially during colder seasons or high demand periods. And let's talk about stress resilience. This adaptogenic rich formula helps regulate cortisol level and fight fatigue, making it ideal for men navigating high stress lifestyles or recovering from burnout. Masculinity is more than a beverage, it's a grounding elixir that supports the whole man, body, mind, and spirit. So here are the ingredients. The ingredients are roasted dandelion root, ashwagandha root, damiana leaf, ginger root, nettle leaf, tulsi or holy basil, peppermint, licorice root, and cinnamon bark chips. I am telling you, this tea really packs a punch. So that's our tea of the night, sisters, masculinity. So please introduce the kings and the men in your life to this amazing, healthy, all organic tea. What do y'all think about that? What do you think about that? And I'm going to finish this tea tonight because I'm not letting it go to waste. I'm not spilling any tea, okay? I am going to finish this tea. So this tea is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Statements have not been evaluated by the FDA, so always consult a qualified health professional before beginning any herbal regimen. Consult a healthcare professional if you are pregnant, nursing, taking medications, or under medical care. All right, sisters, quick reminder, hit that like button, share, subscribe, and the notification bell. All right? Let others know that we're here. And yeah, hit that notification bell so whenever we go live, you want to be notified. All right? And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Shebrews Royalty LLC. Shebrews Royalty LLC. So, sisters, without further ado, it is showtime. And it's not at the Apollo, but right here on Tea Time with Shebrews Royalty. So, shalom again, Royal Family, and welcome back to Tea Time with Shebrews Royalty, where ancient wisdom meets modern wellness, and we honor the body as the sacred temple that it is. So, sisters, welcome back and welcome to episode 4 of Woman, Wilderness, and Wisdom. Episode 4. And this is our 4th and final episode in this series. So, in our last episode, which was a couple of weeks ago, we talked about shelter, water, and fire. as first priorities in survival. Tonight, we're moving into something just as important. Tonight, we're talking about wilderness first aid basics every woman should know. Wilderness first aid basics. We're going to keep it basic, right? Especially since we're not in a classroom setting where you can actually do hands-on. But what I'm going to do is there are quite a few links that I'm going to be dropping in the comment box. So for your reference, these links will go in the comment box so you can read further on what we talk about tonight. All right? So when people hear the words first aid, they sometimes think of advanced medical knowledge, complicated procedures, or a huge supply kit. But the truth is, wilderness first aid often begins with simple, calm, practical steps. It begins with noticing what is wrong. It begins with protecting life and preventing the problem from getting worse. And it begins with knowing what you can do right away with the supplies and the skills you have. Sometimes we have to improvise, and that's really important, is to learn how to improvise. You may not have exactly what is necessary at that moment, exactly, but you may have something that you will be able to improvise for that situation. So that matters because outdoors help may not be immediately available. And like I said, you may not have exactly what you think that you need at that point, right? So we have to learn how to make do sometimes with what we have. Response time can be longer, terrain can make evacuation harder, and a problem that might feel small at first can become more serious if it is ignored. The Wilderness Medical Society describes wilderness medical care as care delivered when delays, environmental hazards, or limited resources change how problems must be managed. So in this episode, we're going to talk about the basics, how to think in a wilderness first aid situation, what to do about bleeding, sprains, fractures, burns, dehydration, bug bites, and shock. And when it is time to stop trying to manage it yourself and to get higher level medical care. So let's begin. And like I said, I'm going to start dropping some links in, let me find this here. So I mentioned the Wilderness Medical Society, WMS. So I am going to drop this link to the WMS in the chat box so you can learn more about them. WMS.org. I'm not going to go into, like I said, into all of these links because there's just so much information that we won't be able to go through tonight. But I would encourage you to save these links so that later on you can dig deeper, go further into what we're learning, the basics that we're learning tonight. All right. So like I said, let's go ahead and begin. So first aid starts with calm assessment. And since we have been focusing on wilderness preparation for the past few, I guess it's been 2 months, maybe a little bit longer, 2.5 months that we've been focusing on wilderness preparation, we've always began with the focus of calm assessment. And this cannot be stressed enough. We cannot assess if we're frantic, right? So getting our emotions under control is really, really important, right? So before you touch anything, before you move anyone, or start reaching into your first aid kit, the first step is to slow down. That's the first step. Slow down, take a breath, look at the scene, and ask yourself a few simple questions. Is the area safe? First of all, is the person responsive? Is there severe bleeding? Is there a problem with breathing? Is there a dangerous environmental threat like heat, cold, water, falling rocks, lightning, or is there a fire? So these are the things that we want to assess right off the bat, right? And I know for those of us that have been CPR or BLS trained, these are some of the things that is also brought out as initial steps in CPR, in BLS, assessing the scene and the injured person, right? So that first pause matters because you do not want to rush into danger yourself, right? If it's a dangerous situation and that's what caused this person to be in the condition that they're in, if you want to help them, you can't be in the same condition that they're in. So it's necessary for you to assess the scene first. Wilderness care starts with scene safety and a clear assessment. So we mentioned CPR and BLS classes. So for those, like I said, who have been trained in CPR or BLS, you will recognize this as the initial step. The Wilderness Medical Society's wilderness emergency care resources emphasize that environmental and delayed rescue are part of the medical picture outdoors. If the scene is not safe, your first move may be to create safety, not to begin treatment immediately. You don't want to start treatment in an unsafe environment because guess what? Eventually, you're going to have to stop the treatment to deal with the safety issue. So once you know that the scene is reasonably safe, think in this order. Life threats first, then everything else. If there's anything that threatens life, that's what you want to deal with first. Then everything else comes after. Excuse me. So that means check for severe bleeding, trouble breathing, altered responsiveness, or signs that the person is rapidly becoming unstable. A calm assessment is one of the most important first aid skills that you can have. Give me just a second. Another tickle in my throat. This is becoming habitual. All right, let's talk about severe bleeding. So this is one of the first things that you need to control. If someone is bleeding heavily, that becomes a top priority. That will become a top priority, severe bleeding. The American Red Cross advises applying direct pressure to life-threatening external bleeding right away. For severe limb bleeding, a tourniquet may be used if you're trained in applying a tourniquet. And wound packing may be used also, again, if trained for certain severe wounds. The Red Cross also advises protecting the person from getting too cold or overheated and giving care for shock if needed. So in plain language, apply firm pressure, use clean dressings if you have them, keep pressure steady, and do not keep lifting the dressing to check every few seconds. Because guess what? As that clot is trying to form to stop the bleeding, that's the body's protective mechanism. If you keep ripping that dressing off, you're going to disrupt the clotting and the bleeding is going to become profuse again. So here's another link. This link is from the American Red Cross, and it is specifically about bleeding and life-threatening external wounds. Please take some time to go back and read these articles. They are so very informative. There you go. And that one, once again, is about severe bleeding. All right. So if bleeding is soaking through the dressing, add more material and maintain pressure. In wilderness settings, controlling bleeding early matters because help may not be just minutes away. So it's important to get that bleeding under control. This is also a reminder that your first aid kit should not only contain bandages for tiny cuts, it should also include items that help with real bleeding control. And we'll talk about pressure dressings, and even having the roll gauze to be able to wrap that area and to keep pressure on the area that's bleeding. The CDC advises travelers to carry first aid supplies appropriate to the person and the trip. And the WMS, which is the Wilderness Medical Society, emphasizes evidence-based kit planning rather than just random overpacking. So I'm going to drop another link in here, and this is the CDC's Yellow Book on preparing your health kits. And on one of the previous shows, I had dropped this in the link, dropped the link in the box at that time as well, but I am going to do that again. This is about wounds and how to care for wounds in a wilderness setting. And how to be able to identify the type of wound that you're dealing with. Here's another link right there. So let's talk about cuts, scrapes, and open wounds. So not every wound is going to be life-threatening, but even smaller wounds need proper attention in the outdoors, right? Why? Because there's a lot of dirt out there. There are so many things that can contaminate that wound. And especially if you're not close to any place that has clean water. So it's important that you have in your first aid kit, if you're going to be out in the outdoors, clean water that you may need to wash a wound, right? So the Red Cross recommends caring for wounds with basic first aid steps and monitoring whether further care is needed. In a wilderness setting, the goal is to stop the bleeding, gently clean the wound as best as you can, soap and water, protect it with a dressing, and watch for worsening pain, swelling, drainage, redness, or other signs that it may need more medical care, because a wound, a dirty wound, can become infected very easily, and something that is it started out really simple can now be life-threatening, right? So outdoors, dirt and contamination matter more because you may not have ideal cleaning conditions. So this is not the time to be casual about, it's just a scrape. If it's deep, dirty, or continuing to bleed, you need to take care of that right away. And this is also where gloves, gauze, antiseptic wipes, and adhesive dressings earn their place in your kit. You have to have these items in every first aid kit: gloves, gauze, antiseptic wipes, and adhesive dressings. Let's see. So yeah, that yes, I've already dropped the link for the wounds in the comment box there. So next we're going to talk about sprains, strains, and possible fractures. So sidebar, after graduating from the PA program, the physician assistant program that I attended, I was invited to return as a guest lecturer for the subsequent classes. And so this happens to be the class that I taught. It was on sprains, strains, and contusions. So this brings back a lot of memories from 100 years ago. So that's a topic that I lectured on. So that being said, this topic right here is very near and dear to me. This is on sprains, strains, and possible fractures. So one of the most common wilderness problems is injury from slips, uneven footing, carrying packs, or falls. A painful ankle, a swollen knee, or injured wrist may seem minor at first, but once mobility is affected, the entire situation changes. The Red Cross advises treating muscle and bone injuries as potential fractures. Because why? We don't have an x-ray machine out there in the wilderness, right? So we always have to think worst case scenario. Worst case scenario is that this may not be just a sprain or strain. It can potentially be a fracture, so we need to treat it as such. They recommend resting the injured part without moving or straightening it unnecessarily. And for closed injuries, using a cold pack wrapped in a thin, dry towel for up to 20 minutes at a time, if that can be done safely. And once again, that's another thing that should be in your first aid pack. One of those, those ice packs that you pop that bubble in there and you shake it up and it gets really cold. Have a couple of those in your first aid kit, because guess what? Nobody is walking around with a refrigerator in the wilderness either, or a freezer, right? So you're not gonna get ice from an ice machine. Have some of those cold packs in your first aid kit. So if there's bleeding, of course, you're going to control the bleeding first. So in wilderness language, what does this look like? This means do not force it. Do not walk it off too quickly. Do not assume it's fine just because the person is tough. sometimes that's, as silly as that may sound. Oh yeah, you're tough. You can do this. No, that's not smart, right? So the first thing you want to do is stabilize the area, reduce unnecessary movement, and reassess whether to continue going forward. You may have miles to go, and we talked about this before, reassessing where you're at that point. If someone is injured, if you have 5 miles to get to your destination and you realize that a mile behind you was a safe place, that you may be able to go back a mile and to be able to rest, and whether it's get water, whatever it is that you need, if that's behind you, you may have to go back rather than pushing forward and going for the next 5 miles, right? So this is where reassessing is really, really important, right? Sometimes the safest decision is to stop the trip and begin getting out carefully, or call for help if that is an option, right? If you have some way to reach out for help, which we all hope that we do, if the injury is serious enough. This is one area where pride sometimes gets us women in trouble, right? Pushing through an injury may turn a manageable problem into a much larger one, right? And sometimes because we feel as though, oh my gosh, if I'm down, what about the children? What about my husband? What about such and such and such? And so you feel as though if you are not able to function at 100%, that you're letting everyone down. But at this moment, if you're the injured one, then allow others to have that opportunity to now assist you. There's nothing wrong with that. So let me drop the next article here, and this one is specifically about fractures. This one is about fractures, and it's from, once again, the American Red Cross on fractures. A lot of information, sisters, but guess what? Valuable, valuable information. Read one article a day. See how much you can learn from each article. This is very important stuff. Next, we're going to talk about burns. Burns. So burns can happen from campfires. They can happen from hot cookware. We're out there. Sometimes, we may have a small grill or something like that. Burns can happen that way. Heated water, stoves, or even sun exposure, sunburns. So the American Red Cross advises cooling burns with cool, clean running water as quickly as possible. That early cooling step matters, right? So if there is a burn, stop the burning process. And the way to do that is to cool it down with water. Cool the area, protect it, and assess whether it is more serious than basic field care can manage. So large burns involving the face, hands, genitals, or major joints, and burns with severe blistering or deeper tissue damage may need more urgent evaluation. So in the wilderness setting, even a moderate burn becomes more complicated if the person is far from help, short on water, or already dealing with heat or cold stress. So you definitely want to assess these burns and make some quick decisions. So here's another article on burns. And this one is about burns and how to help in a situation where there's a burn. All right. Any questions thus far, sisters? Any questions thus far? Y'all are pretty quiet out there, soaking it all in, I hope. Soaking it all in. Let's talk now about heat illness and dehydration. Heat illness and dehydration. So heat, sun, exertion, and inadequate hydration can cause people to deteriorate faster than they expect. Once again, the CDC guidance notes that heat illness ranges from heat cramps and exhaustion to life-threatening heat stroke, and that hydration and reducing heat exposure are important protective measures. So REI, or Recreational Equipment Inc., has 10 essential guidance. 10 essentials guidance also notes that water needs increase with activity, heat, altitude, and exertion. So first aid in the field means noticing the early signs, right? Such as unusual fatigue, dizziness, headache, nausea, confusion, weakness, heavy sweating, or sometimes a change in the sweating pattern. They may have been sweating profusely previously, and now they're just totally dry, not sweating at all, and confused and weak. So once again, assessment is key. So if someone appears overheated, move them to shade, reduce the exertion. So you want to stop, walk in, and find shade close by. You want to cool them down and rehydrate if they are alert and able to drink. Do not wait until the situation looks dramatic. Early response is one of the most important skills in wilderness first aid. So let me say something really clearly. A woman does not need to look collapsed before her condition deserves attention. If she's getting weak, confused, shaky, or clearly not herself, then we need to take it seriously. So here's another article from the CDC. Let me see what this one is on. So this one it talks about a storm of summer perils. The battle for healthy outdoor workers is no game. So a lot of people work outdoors in the summertime. And this is really important information on how to keep them healthy. If you are someone that you know work outdoors in the summertime, this is a really important article that you should read and also share with others. Because every summer there are so many heat-related injuries that can be avoided. I know the weather, at least here, has been really strange lately, where even today everything is cloudy, but I know once summer hits, Once summer hits, it's going to rear its head, right? And we know what summers look like out here. So we want to be ahead of the game, and start preparing now for when that heat comes in. So now we're going to talk about shock. And shock is about, you want to watch the whole person, not just the injury. So shock is not just an emotional reaction. In first aid, it refers to a serious condition where the body is not getting what it needs to function properly. The Red Cross includes shock care alongside serious bleeding response and advises monitoring the person, helping maintain body temperature, and continuing to assess for worsening conditions. So in practical terms, someone in shock may look pale, weak, confused, sweaty, or unusually quiet. They may seem faint, cold, or less responsive than they should be. So here's information on shock. Let's see, do I have the... Okay, so the information on shock is on I think it's the first, yes, the first article that I dropped in the comment box, the one on bleeding and life-threatening external wounds. So there's information in that article about shock. So if you suspect shock, treat the cause if you can. Protect them from cold or heat, keep them as calm as possible, and get higher level help. That's really important. So the wilderness setting, shock can develop from bleeding, from injury, from heat illness, allergic reactions, or other serious problems. So do not focus on the wound, watch the person as a whole, right? So if someone is bleeding profusely, if they have a serious injury, if they seem to have a heat illness, an allergic reaction, may have been bitten by something, it could be something as simple as a scorpion bite or a spider bite, but they're allergic to it, right? That can cause serious problems. Speaking of bites, let's talk about bug bites, ticks, and prevention, because prevention is so important. This is one thing that we can do our very best to prevent: bug bites, tick bites, right? So wilderness first aid is not only about treatment, it's also about preventing problems that can become medical issues later. CDC guidance recommends using EPA registered insect repellents, wearing long sleeves and pants when appropriate, and treating clothing and gear with permethrin to reduce bug bites risk. CDC also warns that some tick-borne illnesses, including Rocky Mountain spotted fever, can be severe and should be treated early. So I don't know how many of you have ever heard of Rocky Mountain spotted fever, and that comes from a tick bite, and it can be very severe. So more articles for you. Let's see. This one is how to avoid bug bites. And all of us should be carrying some bug repellent in our first aid kit. There are plenty of natural bug repellents out there. So please, please make sure you have a pretty well stocked first aid kit. It's me, Sarah. Shalawam, Sister Sarah. Shalawam. Good to see you. My beautiful Benjamin sister. The water for sharing the vital information. Much love. Ayandabar, sis. Ayandabar. You are most welcome. Thank you for joining us. So there we go. Bug bites. Bug bites. How to prevent the bug bites. And the next article is about Rocky Mountain spotted fever. And let's see, in this article, it shows the areas that are endemic for the American dog tick, which can carry things like Lyme disease and stuff like that. And then there's the Rocky Mountain wood tick, where this area, and you'll see it on the map, is endemic for the Rocky Mountain spotted fever. So please take some time to look at these articles, because sometimes we don't think about this. We go out there, we go to tabernacles once a year, and there's all kinds of critters out there where we go. And we have to know the areas where we're going, and do some research what's endemic in that area, so that we can be prepared for what is possible out there, and do our very best to prevent these illnesses, right? So those two articles, one is on bug bites, the other is on the Rocky Mountain spotted fever. So women who are spending time outdoors should think ahead. Think ahead. Use prevention. Check for tick after time outdoors. And one of the areas where ticks really hide really well is on the scalp, because you have a lot of hair, and they can embed themselves on your scalp and you don't even know. So it's important, when you come from areas that are known to have a lot of ticks, and even if they're not known for that, it's important when you get home to do a thorough assessment from head to toe, to see if there are any ticks that have found themselves hitching a ride on your body, right? So check for ticks after time outdoors. Pay attention to fever, rash, or other illness after exposure. So if you notice that there's a tick on you and you had a tick bite, you really want to be observant. You want to pay attention to if you develop a fever, if you get a rash, or other illness after exposure. And you don't want to ignore the symptoms just because the bite itself seems minor. This is especially important if you live in or travel through areas where tick-borne illnesses is a known risk. So if you're going somewhere, if you're going camping, or like we said, we go to tabernacles, Google before you go there and find out what's in this area that I really need to be concerned about, and prepare ahead of time. Some places are known for snakes. Some places are known for scorpions, right? So be prepared. So let's talk about what belongs in a practical wilderness first aid kit. All right. So you don't need to carry an ambulance on your back. You don't need an ambulance on your back, right? But what you do need to have is a sensible first aid kit. So we've talked about how to build a first aid kit in our previous episodes. We've had one on the Nature's first aid kit, and we talked about creating a lot of quite a few products with natural ingredients. And then we also talked about having a first aid kit with all of the other stuff like gauze and bandages and splints and all of those things, right? Because yes, we do need some natural stuff, but what about the bandages? What about bandages, right? And all of the other things that we need to make sure that if we have a wound or if we get burned, all of those things we talked about earlier, right? So definitely assess to make sure that your kit is a very well-rounded kit. So if you haven't already seen those videos, please go back and in our library there and see what videos you've missed and just catch up. CDC guidance says a personal first aid kit should reflect the traveler's health history. So if you have a health history of certain things, your first aid kit is not going to look like everyone else's, right? You need to address your specific concerns as well. The kind of trip that you'll be taking, depending on where you're going, if you're going to some place where it's going to be really cold, then you need to prepare for that. If you're going someplace where it's going to be really hot, once again, you need to prepare for the environment. If it's very hilly, prepare for that. All right, so making sure that you plan your kit appropriately, which means carrying what is useful, not just what sounds impressive. So a practical kit includes gloves, gauze, bandages, adhesive tape, blister care. How many of you think about that? Blister care. So many people go on hikes and shoes may not be appropriate. Your footwear may not be appropriate for hiking, and before you know it, you have blisters. So having moleskin in your first aid pack is really important as well. Antiseptic wipes, a wrap for sprains, burn dressing supplies, tweezers. In my first aid kit, I have a snake bite kit and insect bite kit, and it has everything in there. It has it's like a syringe that you use to suck out the venom. So make sure you get an insect bite kit, which also will include tweezers and the syringe to suck out any venom. Personal medications, allergy medication, if appropriate for you. If you know that you struggle with seasonal allergies, hay fever, if you are one that has anaphylaxis, then you want to make sure that you have the appropriate medication. Any critical prescription items that you personally need, right? You may need an EpiPen. If you are someone that has been prescribed an EpiPen by your provider, please, wherever you go, carry that EpiPen. If you are asthmatic, if you deal with asthma, have your rescue inhaler always with you. Have an extra one in your first aid kit, right? So the right kit is not the fanciest one. It is the one that you understand and actually carry. And it has items in there that you know that you need. So that is absolute wisdom. Create your first aid kit, not just for everybody else, but make sure that you are addressing your specific needs as well. So then how do you know when first aid is not enough? This is really important, right? This is one of the most important parts of the episode, is knowing when first aid is not enough. And then what do? First aid is about helping early. That's why it's called first aid. It's not last aid, it's first aid. It is not about pretending every problem can be fully handled in the field, because a lot of problems won't be able to be handled in the field. So if someone has severe bleeding that does not stop, difficulty breathing, suspected major fracture, especially if this fracture is a compound fracture, which means that the skin is broken and there's a bone protruding, guess what? That is, it doesn't end with first aid, right? If the person has altered mental status, if they are in and out of consciousness, or if they have lost consciousness, if now they're acting erratic, seem to have some kind of a psychosis, these are really important and serious conditions that first aid is not going to, it's not just going to end at first aid, right? If there's a severe burn, if there are signs of heat stroke, worsening weakness or collapse, signs of serious allergic reaction, swelling of the lips, the face, the tongue, huge hives, or anything that clearly exceeds basic care, then that's, you know, that first aid is not enough. The goal shifts to getting advanced help as quickly and as safely as possible. Wilderness care is often about making good decisions under imperfect conditions. Sometimes the best care is stabilization and evacuation, not trying to do more than the situation allows. That principle is consistent with the Wilderness Medical Society's approach to delayed resource environments. So never confuse calm with denial. You can be calm, but still not in denial that, you know, this needs a higher level of care. So a calm woman, what she does is she pays attention, and a wise woman knows when to escalate without panic. Making that decision to escalate without panicking, right? So I think that's a lot of information to pack into one night. And that is the reason why I gave you all those articles, so that at your leisure, you can go through those articles and get a more in-depth understanding of what we talked about tonight. So as we close episode 4 of Women, Wellness, and Wisdom, I want you to remember this. Wilderness first aid is not about perfection. It's about preparation, it's about observation, and it's about steady action. It is knowing how to stop bleeding, how to protect an injury, how to cool a burn, how to recognize dehydration, how to notice shock, and how to respond before a small problem becomes a crisis. You don't need to know everything all at once. You're not going to. You're not going to know everything all at once. It's a lot. It's a lot to learn, right? But every skill that you learn increases your confidence, it sharpens your judgment, and strengthens your ability to protect yourself and those around you. So that is not fear. That is what? Wisdom in action. Wisdom in action. Alicia, Sister Karama says, Khan, and Aquat Sierra says, Khan, sisters. Something is, wow. Maybe my vents are needing some flushing out or something. I just replaced my filter last month, but there's something that's triggering a little scratchiness here. Anyhow, so sisters, we have come to the end of our series, Woman, Wilderness, and Wisdom, where practical skills, calm thinking, and preparedness help women care for life in the outdoors. So how many of you feel more prepared, at least a little bit more prepared with going out into the wilderness from a wilderness first aid standpoint? So just a little bit more prepared. However, this is not the end of the discussion on preparedness. This is not the ending. So for those of you that want to learn more, Sister Sarah says, the water for all, the lion. You posted, forwarded them to myself. Oh, all praises, the links. All praises, sis. The links, Khan. Ayandabar, you're most welcome. Yes, forward them to yourselves, sisters. Forward them. Because, like I said, this is not the end of the discussion on preparedness, right? So now you have those links that you can go back and read. But here's something else. For those of you that really want to learn more and go deeper into your knowledge on how to prepare for wilderness emergencies with practical hands-on training. We're talking about hands-on. It's one thing to read something, but really doing things hands-on, this is how you really learn, right? Is actually doing it. Reading is good, but actually doing it is so much better. And this is how we really learn, right? So I want you all to stay tuned, because this summer, most high willing, I will be teaching a 2-day class on wilderness first aid. And this class is going to be in an outdoor environment that will actually simulate a wilderness exercise experience. Right? So more info to come. So 2 days, 2 8-hour days of wilderness first aid, dealing with wilderness emergencies. And it will be outdoors. I'm looking for the right location to do this, but I think this is so important, so important. If you are not already CPR certified, sisters, make that a priority. Make that a priority to become CPR certified. Start there. Start with your CPR certification. Once you are CPR certified and you want to go deeper, go further in your training, get into the wilderness first aid course, where we will be doing a lot. Actually, learning how to stabilize injuries, fractures, sprains, strains, deal with heat strokes, lacerations, learning how to suture, learning. It's just so much. It's just so much. Learning how to carry someone that can't walk and can't ambulate on their own, and how to carry them without injuring yourself. There's just so much to the wilderness first aid preparedness: cold injuries, heat injuries, assessments. There's a lot. And so a 2 day class in the outdoors, how does that sound? How does that sound? Sister Sarah says that's a great idea, sis. All praises to the Most High. I've had this idea. I've been wanting to do this class, to conduct this class, and there's just been so much going on. There's just been so much going on. But as things get crazier, let me put it that way, I see that these are things that we really need to do. These are things that we really need to do. We need to, for myself, pass on this knowledge to as many people as I can. And because, we don't know. And then once you learn, you can now pass this information on to someone else, to the younger people, and just keep this information going, right? We can never be too prepared. So we'll talk more about this as the weeks go along. Once again, I will try and find a really good location for us to do this in the outdoors. And of course, I know the first class will be out here in my area. And once that happens, then who knows? I may travel and do this class in other areas as the demand increases, right? So we have to start with the first one and see what y'all think, and then we'll go from there. All praises to the Most High. More info to come. So this channel is not monetized, but if you find the information that is presented on this channel to be useful and valuable to you, please feel free to give a donation to the cause. Nothing is too small or large. Shebrew Royalty LLC and Tea Time with Shebrew Royalty are labors of love and appreciation. I don't know if you all can tell, but I really love what I do. I really enjoy having these sessions, having time with you all. And it's not laborious. It's not hard. It's just this. I live, breathe this stuff, right? And so it's a labor. It's a labor, but it's a labor of love. and appreciation, like I said. So what I present on this channel and create and offer on Shebrew Royalty LLC, ShebrewRoyalty.com, comes from a place of love. It comes from a place of care and appreciation for each and every one of you, for myself, and most importantly, for the Most High, because He is the one who has blessed me with the gifts that He has blessed me with the passion, with the ability, and the desire to continue to do what I do. And so all praise, honor, and glory be to Him. All praise, honor, and glory. So we appreciate any gift that the Most High puts on your heart to donate. Donations may be sent to $Shebrew Royalty on Cash App. And please be sure to specify donation as the purpose for the transaction. So Thawada, thank you in advance for your generosity. Oh, Sister Sarah says, we love and appreciate you, sis. Many blessings. Thawada says, many blessings to you as well. All praises to the Most High. So the best way to support us is by visiting ShebrewRoyalty.com and purchasing one of our all organic skincare products from either our Temple Treasures collection, which is made for the queens, or from our Hebrew Royalty collection, specifically crafted for our kings. And let's not forget our Royalties collection. I'm enjoying my masculinity. It is delicious, sisters. It is delicious. So if you haven't experienced any of our products, please check out our reviews page on ShebrewRoyalty.com and check out what our customers are saying. And if you have experienced our products and you have not yet written a review, please, please, please go and please drop a review on the reviews page on ShebrewRoyalty.com. So Sister Karama says that's a big teacup. It really is. It is. Because I'm a big tea drinker. So a big tea drinker has to have a big teacup. It's just necessary. It really is necessary. It is an absolute necessity that I have a big teacup. So let us, sisters, continue to grow this channel so that the information can reach Shebrews throughout the four corners of the earth, and even those that are not Shebrews but are willing to be a part of our community. We are to let our light shine so that others can be led to the source of the light. So thank you for your continued love and support, sisters. I love you and always appreciate you taking time out of your very busy schedules to have tea and conversation with me. Thawada. Thank you for your support. I am so grateful for each and every one of you. So if this episode spoke to your heart, please share it with another woman that needs this information, right? It needs this information. So know that I'm praying for you. I'm praying for us. So until the Most High brings us back together, may you prosper and be in excellent health. And remember, true healing begins inwardly before it is expressed outwardly. So, beloved, I thank you for joining me on another healing moment on Tea Time with Shebrew Royalty. Until next time, stay aware, stay prepared, and walk in wisdom. I'm your hostess, YASHAYA, a voice of reasoning and justice. And as always, this is Tea Time with Shebrew Royalty. Shalom and many blessings. Good night, sisters. AHAYAH. Oh, Sister Hub Karan says, Consis, we really enjoy your hard work. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. The water, sis. Ahabatha, I love y'all. Shalawam. If it's the Most High's will, we'll be back here next week. Same tea time, same tea channel. Don't know what the topic is about next week yet, but guess what? It's going to be good. I promise. All praises. Shalom, sisters. Have a blessed, and marvelous week. I love y'all.